My name is Jay Taylor. I'm the editor of Jay Taylor's Gold, Energy, and Tech Stocks. I'm here at the Metals Investor Forum. It's January 19th, 2018, and I'm here with Robert Carrington. He's the president and CEO and a director of Newrange Gold Corp. Newrange Gold Corp trades in Toronto under the symbol NRG, selling at about 33 cents recently, giving it a market cap of around $25 million. It is a company that I have recommended in my newsletter. It's a company that I own personally, shares of stock in. It's a company that I think is very exciting because of its high-grade discovery that it has the Pamlico Project in the northern end of the Walker Trend in the Walker Lane Trend in Nevada. Welcome, Robert. It's really good to see you again.
Jay, thanks for having us again.
You know, your project, you've really come out with some really spectacular gold assays. I mean,
yes,
just sort of blow your socks off, so to speak. Can you talk about the nature of the gold mineralization there, and perhaps a little bit about the size and scope of your target?
The Pamlico Project is truly a district scale project. It has multiple potential deposit types. The deposit, or the area we've been exploring, is dominated by volcanic hosted epithermal mineralization that's reminiscent of other major districts along the Walker Lane, such as the Comstock Lode, Tonopah, the giant Round Mountain mine that Kinross is currently operating. And it has many very similar host rocks. They're all volcanic host rocks, chemically very similar to those other deposits and districts I mentioned. The deposit we're currently exploring is a series of very high-grade veins, as you indicated, some blow your socks off grades, some individual samples exceeding 300 grams a ton. And the important thing about the area we're exploring, we see both these extremely high-grade veins with spectacular gold grades that are surrounded by large areas of more disseminated or stockwork mineralization that may be amenable to modern bulk mining techniques. Yeah. Elsewhere on the property, and starting in February, we're going to be exploring some of these other targets as well. These include more Carlin-type sediment-hosted mineralization in the southeast part of the property. Along the northeast portion of the property, we're going to be exploring very high-grade carbonate replacement systems. And then we're also going to be drilling a couple of gold skarn targets, as well as stepping off a long trend from the area we've been exploring and expanding the very high-grade volcanic-hosted mineralization. Yeah,
you've learned a lot, I guess. There's still a lot to learn, I'm sure. You recently put out an announcement that you think you may have honed in on what the host rocks are that host some of this high-grade gold. Could you talk about that for me?
Yeah, we completed 2 deep stratigraphic test holes, and the specific purpose of those was to explore the volcanic pile to see if there were other rocks that had similar favorable chemistry for the deposition of gold mineralization, similar to those that we have been exploring in, and those holes were both highly successful. The 2 really significant points that came out of those holes is Pamlico enjoys an extremely deep level of oxidation. The oxidation extends approximately 200 meters below the surface, which is one of the deepest oxidation fronts I've ever seen anywhere in the world. And then there is a very favorable horizon deeper, about 300 meters down, that has very similar mineral or chemical characteristics to the rock. We see very intense alteration in it, major increase in contained sulfides, and we see highly anomalous gold, silver, and base metal values in that. So we know that there is a system operating that's affecting that deeper horizon, and in my opinion at least, I think it's a matter of getting drill holes into the right structural environment close to the feeder zones, so we can start picking up the gold values that we see closer to the surface.
So this deep oxidation, and if you have dissemination between veins, would seem to possibly to bode very well. Time will tell, but
yeah, I think it bodes very well.
Surface mining potential.
Absolutely, you're absolutely correct, and that's one of the attractive things about Pamlico is we do see this dissemination between the veins. We have 75-meter intercepts that average 3 gram gold,
Wow.
which is high grade by most people's standards, and we consider that to be low grade mineralization there at Pamlico. The nature of the mineralization, the gold seems to be very, very fine grained for the most part. Historically, in the 1800s, they were producing very coarse gold from some of the rhyolite units, but in the lithic tuffs and the fragmental units that host the mineralization that we're looking at, the gold is very fine grained and potentially amenable to heap leaching. Mm-hmm. So it be very interesting. We're going to be doing a lot of metallurgical test work going forward this year, as well as drilling. And we're also looking to drive a couple of large crosscuts across the high-grade zones we have been drilling. So we'll have bulk samples for future metallurgical work.
It's really exciting. The high-grade numbers. I wonder if you could just hold up and show the cameras the wonderful high-grade. Talk to us about that rock you have in your hand, and what sort of grades would that have?
Okay, this is actually this rock came from a waste dump on the Pamlico property. It was found with a metal detector in one of the waste dumps, and it probably contains 1 ounce or 2 ounces of gold in this fist-sized piece of rock. This is typical of the extremely high grade that was mined in the 1800s, when they were mostly looking for visible gold. Most of the gold that we see today is not visible. We have in the drill intercepts where we see over 300 grams, there's no visible gold in it. Wow. And so this particular piece is reminiscent of the historic mining. Not much that we'll see in our modern mining.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch your drill intercepts. Do you still have some assays coming back? Because I know the labs are really slow.
Right. Well, the labs are choked, yeah.
And do you have some more that you're going to be reporting soon?
Yeah, we probably within the next couple of weeks we'll have another release on our drill intercepts. We're currently checking some of the assays we got in the first round of assays on those holes.
Incredibly high assays that you're double checking, perhaps?
Well, they're very good assays.
Really exciting, that's for sure. And you're going to do some metallurgical work. You indicated next year. Are you waiting for all of the assays to come in before you plan your drilling in 2018, or do you have that set up?
No, in the volcanic hosted mineralization around the area we've been drilling, we're waiting for that. But very importantly, we're stepping off into a zone where we see carbonate replacement mineralization. Okay. That is completely independent. It's approximately 2.5 miles away from the area that we have been exploring. Really terrific. And so that really is going to be an independent target area. And then the sediment-hosted Carlin-style mineralization would be yet a third target area that we'll be working on.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Walker Lane only recently, I think, at the southern end, they're talking Carlin-style mineralization. It hadn't been commonly thought of as a host for Carlin-style mineralization until recently.
It really hasn't. Yeah. And sediment-hosted mineralization is pretty much ubiquitous throughout Nevada. It's more a function of the depth of burial and the host rocks that you have available. But it's really been the mindset of the geologists looking at it that's prevented more successful exploration in the Walker Lane.
As an experienced geologist, I mean, that's your life. You've been a geologist for a few years.
Yes.
Quite a few years, I might say. And you know, I would guess that your objective with Newrange Gold is to build a deposit that someone else will put into production eventually.
Most likely, yes. I have a very strong production background in my professional career. I've worked as an underground chief geologist in underground mines, 1,200 ton a day production. I've actually designed and built 10,000 ton a day open pit heap leach mines. But the least risky path forward for our shareholders is to build it and wind up having somebody else put it in production. Yeah. It de-risks the equation materially. For sure,
yes. Well, it's going to be exciting to watch, and if you can come up with something that's sizable and high grade, I mean, those are, if you're really going, it's really quite exciting, I must say. I'm very pleased to own some shares myself. Just in summary, what might we tell the viewers they should be watching out for? Your assays coming out, what other drivers might add value to Newrange?
Well, we clearly have the immediate assays coming out within the next few weeks, and then we're going to be starting our third phase of drilling on the property in February. Those assays will come out. We're going to be initiating a program of preliminary metallurgical work. We're currently selecting the drill intervals for that work. And then we're in the process of arranging the purchase of the underground equipment to actually drive crosscuts across the high-grade zones.
Yeah.
So all of these things going forward, and then
2018,
later, yeah, in 2018, we're also going to drift across those high-grade zones.
Wow, good.
So we're actually going to be able to have hands-on exposure of some of these incredible zones. It'll be very exciting.
It really is shaping up as a very exciting story. Again, Robert, thank you so much for being with us today, and we'll look to keep up with it, that's for sure.
Yep. Well, Jay, thank you for having us.